Yo, it's your one, and you tune into the Real You podcast, where you get nothing but genuine dialogue and honest perspectives. Today, for our very first episode at the Real You, we have a special guest on. He is a MMA fighter from Macon, Georgia, fighting out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, under Agogi combatants. He is 5'8" with outstanding 75.5 standing reach. He is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Torrez, the Punisher, Finney.
Oh man. Hey, thank you for that intro. Hey, that was good, Juwan. That's good.
Hey man, I'm glad to have you on, man. I know you got a busy schedule, but I really appreciate you taking the time out to hang with me today, man.
Hey, look, man, I'm happy to be on here. Obviously, I know you're starting up this podcast. I'm excited to be on here. Hey, happy to be number uno on this one. So, but yeah, man, I thank you very much. Done a bunch of these, and definitely I was like, man, when you asked me, I was like, oh, no question, no problem doing this, and I'm happy to be a part of this. So thank you.
I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that, man. Well, without further ado, let's get into it then.
Yes, sir.
Man, so tell me a little bit. So you from Macon, Georgia? Tell me a little bit about your childhood and growing up in Macon.
Well, so October 24, 1998, boom, 98 baby, and I'm from Macon, Georgia, and I grew up in Macon, had family, mom and dad, grandparents, had like they say, community raised you. Then eventually, and I went to a private school early on. Then I transferred, went to Jones County school system. So I was there at Matty Wells, and went on to Clifton Ridge, then the Jones County High School. And yeah, man, it was just I enjoyed my whole journey. I always tell people I enjoyed my youth days. Those youth days. It's funny now. I see a lot of things on social media where ideally, a lot of people in the black family actually grew up the same way. There's a lot of things, a lot of similarities. And man, I definitely remember my youth days, and I definitely enjoyed them, and still use some of the lessons I learned from back then today. But yes, I really enjoyed the time growing up in Macon.
Oh yeah. And then you touched the point on all the young black kids kind of grew up the same, like them 90s babies, and
90s babies,
and we all kind of grew up the same. So tell me a little bit about because you're big on Christ and everything like that. So tell me a little bit, how did that get started?
Well, so funny story. Well, one, my granddad is a pastor. Okay. My granddad, he's my pastor, Willie Finney Sr. My uncle's a pastor, Willie Finney Jr. So we have a few of them in the family, and my granddad, I always tell people he's like my pillar in my life, my superhero. But it was one time, every time my granddad would preach, they said when I was young, and I do remember this. I do remember I would have a robe. I would have a little robe myself, and I would have my toy microphone, just very similar to this one, and I would emulate my granddad preaching over there in it would be what the mother section was, but I'd be over there emulating my granddad while he'd be in the pulpit preaching. Right. So I would be doing the same thing, and everywhere my granddad went, any church he went to, I loved it. Revival during the week. We'd be going to church. We would get back to 9, 10 o'clock at night
through Sunday.
Yeah, I used to love it, man. I used to love doing that, man. I used to look forward to. Oh, we got revival on a Tuesday night. Let's go. My mom would be like, y'all staying out way too. Like I would come back home like sometimes 10:30, maybe 11, because we would go like 30 minutes or sometimes almost an hour drive up the road. My granddad go and preach and come on back, and I used to enjoy that. But I feel like I was around the age of 7. I want to say 7. My granddad always opened the doors of the church, and when he opened the doors of the church, I had my, I was up there. He's holding the microphone, allowing the people to talk testimony, or if they want to get baptized or want to be saved, and I'm up there with them too. I'm a little kid, man, and I never forget. He turned. I forgot. He went after somebody did their whole spiel. He turned to me. He said, "Do you believe on the name of Jesus Christ that your Lord and Savior, thou shalt be, and thou shalt be saved?" And it's called me. And at the time, I was never thinking. I was like, "Yeah, I've never been baptized myself, but I'm like 7, so I don't know, I was like, yes, and it wasn't a thing, I know a lot of people feel like certain things are indoctrinated, like, okay, you're only going to church because your parents force you to. Right. You're only going.
That's kind of how it was too, though.
Yeah. Well, for one, in a way, it is. Yes. And there, I do understand how people grow up in the church, and some people go away from it because they grew up in that way, and they're like, well, "Man, I've always was told this way. This is all I know," you know. And I don't agree with that stuff now anymore. I'm older now, but certain people, I feel like myself, even though growing up at that time, like there were moments in my life that I was like, "Yeah, God's real," you know, to me, you know, and you know, praying and really being deep into the word, you know. And my granddad would always get me to read the Bible, and you know, we do Bible study and read verses and a lot of things. Like me growing up that way, for me personally, it definitely resonated with me really well. I wasn't the one that wanted to stray away from it. You know, it continued to provide questions, and then answers kept coming. And I just kept saying, you know, yeah, this is yeah, he's real. This is it for me. You know, there were no more really questions. So yeah, I got baptized at a really young age. You know, some people, oh, you get baptized at an age where you really don't know much. Yeah, probably so. But as I grew into it, like as I continued to be more, you know, with my walk with Christ, you do find out, okay, yeah, this is the right thing. This is the right way, you know. And I always tell people, yeah, it's a big thing about faith. There's a big thing about faith. And I tell people all the time, you know, it's like, it's your walk with Christ, and however that walk may go, your walk may not be the same way as my walk. You know,
exactly right.
Personally, for me, you know, I've been blessed, you know, to have a granddad and a family that is very deep into the word and things. So, yeah, it definitely was a little different with me, but I know a lot of people that grow up sometimes don't have that figure to be able to lead them to Christ.
You can tell too, like you can definitely tell a little bit. You can definitely
tell in some today's society, but I feel like for me that I was blessed to have that, and I still for sure utilize a lot of those teachings for myself now, and I feel like it helped me get to where I'm at today.
Yeah. So I ain't gonna lie to you, like my background is similar to that. Like granddad is a pastor, grew up in church, but I kind of had a different effect. Like I ain't really like revival week. Like, I was trying to go home, get on Call of Duty, like the 360 or something. Like, but what I really liked out of it was like Vacation Bible School, being around other folks around my age and like having fun and doing all that. Then coming in to the adults making a play or something. Like we don't practice a whole play back there. Like that was always fun for me. Like
that was fun.
But
Easter speech,
exactly.
That type of stuff, like, that was cool.
You had like youth service.
The youth service, yeah. When you do the youth choir, I can't tell you how many times I've sung so many songs.
So you was in the choir.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. That was the choirs. I had my own individual song. Dude.
See, I was at that point too. I had to realize I was like, man, I ain't built for the choir. I had to learn how to play an instrument. I started playing them drums. Got out the choir quick.
Did that too. I played the piano. Played the piano at church. Yeah. I don't play as well by ear, but I can read some notes.
So you can read music and stuff. See, that's the hardest part. Like I know a lot of musicians that's like in the church and started can't even read music.
They can't read music. Then to be the best ones.
They tuning it up right there. They gonna catch you about that first verse. All right, at the end. Oh, they got you. They playing right there.
Yeah, we got one at church like that back at home. His name Otis, man, and Otis.
I know Otis.
I mean, he probably can read. Oh boy, can he?
He can.
Him and this other guy named Charles Gooden, dude. Them boys. He get on that organ, boy. But it's man, like
Otis and Charles. You know what they gonna do. Dude, you know what you come.
He go on that organ. It's like what in the world? It's like music without even somebody singing. You know what it is music, but like, good Lord, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So tell me a little bit. So was your granddad? Was he when it comes to like outfits and stuff? Was your granddad? Was he always clean 3-piece, or was he kind of basic like suit and tie? Keep it this.
It depends on the occasion. Okay. I would say like if it's like an anniversary or something of that sort,
it's gonna be clean.
Yeah, he'll like. My grandma would do the dressing, but step it up, as they say.
My grandma dressed my granddad. And I'm telling you right now, them 3-piece suits he be wearing, grandma don't tailor them up.
Like, yeah, she tailored them up, get them fit. Like, dude, if you got an ounce of a wrinkle,
come on,
take that off. I've got to re-iron it.
My granddad is the only person I know that still to this day putting mean creases in every pair of pants he wears.
Yeah,
starch. I'm using all of
the starch. Oh boy, you bringing back memory.
That's how I learned how to crease mine.
But you still get on me now about some of my clothes stuff, man. So
I ain't gonna lie though. Like I really I feel like it's a big difference now. Like how we was growing up in like the South, like. in like a Baptist church, or African Methodist, like you grew up in them churches, like I just feel like the vibes and everything else is a lot different than what we doing, what we did back then, and what's going on now. I mean, page like pre-COVID.
I feel like now sometimes churches are trying to. I know they're trying to bring in younger generation, but I think they're doing sometimes a little bit too much to attract them.
Right.
They're turning sometimes a little bit into the world to attract them, rather than people got to remember in the Bible, Jesus went out into the world to get those people, but he never conformed to it. So you can't turn the church into the world to try to grab that one per se. You still gotta bring the word to them, but you just can't change what actually goes on within the church. Like you just can't be changing things. So, but I'm just trying to make sure this person come to church. That's good, but they either gonna come or they're not gonna come. You can't be trying to sugarcoat things per se, and trying to make it into a way to where, okay, I'm trying to get this person saved and trying to get them into church. I'm not trying to offend nobody. Yeah, like you can't do that. You just got to tell the truth like it is. Now you got rock star concerts in church now, And look, again, nothing against rap music. Obviously, if you can do rap music for the Lord, there's nothing wrong with that. Right. But now you got people doing way too far. Like I've seen the things on social media. I mean, they got people stripper pose in church, twerking in church. I mean, it's just all types of foolishness. It's like those type of churches, guess what? They be the biggest, highest fun. Because again, sometimes those churches are sometimes looking more for your pocketbook rather than for your soul. Right. You have to find the right one that make sure they're teaching about the word rather than, teaching that prosperity message. Like sometimes people think they want that feel good message. They want to go to church and like, oh man, that sounded good. I'm going to get a blessing. I'm going to get money. I'm going to have a new house. I'm going to have a new car. It's always the feel good. It's never sometimes these churches don't ever preach about the actual sin. What's wrong, what's right. They just won't feel good. It's basically motivational speaking. I'm going in and motivational speaking, you're going to do good, do this. Rarely ever talk about hell or rarely ever talk about bad things. Right. They're just talking about motivational speaking. Thinking
they're going to scare away the people, but the people, if they really interpreted the Bible the right way and everything like that, I mean, you ain't going to be scared of that. I mean, it's just part of life.
Yeah, it takes a sacrifice, yeah.
So you hit on the rap music and everything in church and stuff. So tell me, gospel or hymn, which one?
My favorite song in all the church is Near the Cross. Okay, I love like Near the Cross. I love that song.
Only them Southern, the people that's really been in church gonna really know what that is.
I love Near the Cross. I love Pass Me Not.
Do not pass.
I love that. I love Pass Me Not. I mean, I love hymns. Personally, I love hymns.
This little light of mine, I'm telling you, I'm tearing that up in church.
That's showing up.
Let me get the mic. I'm reading that right there. Come on now. But gospel songs too, though, like Open the Floodgates of Heaven.
Yes. Yeah, come on.
Can't beat that. Like that's.
I mean, we already know what we grew up on. All the Marvin Sapp songs.
Everything about Kurt. It ain't no wrong with Kurt.
Yeah, Kurt Franklin. Yeah,
Kurt is a
he did his thing.
Like,
he is.
That Marvin.
Yeah, right, come on, man. Shirley Caesar, Dorothy Noah. I love the old schools. I love the personally me. I love that.
It just hit different. Like you tell, it just sound different. Like it coming from a different part,
coming from the soul. That's right.
That's right.
But I love those songs. Though they really like sing it with heart and soul. So you're like, man, that's good. I love that.
The other thing that I miss the most is, man, it used to be a fashion show every Sunday.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
90s.
Yeah.
Man, it used to be a fashion show. Folks coming there trying to see who got the best hat on.
The biggest hat too. The biggest and baddest hat.
Hat way more than the outfit. I'm trying to hold your head up in church.
I'm serious.
And Granny, my Granny,
big old yellow suit.
Man,
I was like
Stephen Adams on. Stacey
Adams. The Stacey Adams shoes the man used to. I remember all that stuff, man. But like I said, that was a part of childhood, and it was just so in depth, and it was at that point in life where you never thought you would ever grow from that. You thought that was going to be every day, every Sunday.
So switching gears here, so a lot of people don't know that, or some may not, that you're a big WWE fan.
Oh yes, dude, I love pro wrestling.
So okay, then, so because I'm right with you now, because I don't seen it since a jit now. So tell me who the GOAT is.
Personally, the GOAT for me is The Undertaker. The Undertaker is the GOAT, man. I'm sorry, dude.
You can't really beat that,
dude.
You go with Undertaker.
I watched WrestleMania this year, and when that gong went off, everybody, dude. When that go now, look, there's two. Everybody knows one. Everybody know when the glass breaks, Stone Cold. We know it, like the pop. Everybody yelling. But when that goes dong and the lights go out, it's electric. Dude, I was at that WrestleMania in Atlanta, WrestleMania 27. Never forget that. Oh man, I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. Undertaker versus Triple H, and that match, man. Like when Undertaker, for one, when he walked out, I mean, it just the chills you get. It's the greatest thing ever, man. The storyline, the moves, the match, you're a kid. When I watched WrestleMania just a few weeks ago, I was so much of a kid, man. I couldn't.
You can't tell nobody. You can't tell me it ain't fake when you was a kid.
Like, well, yeah, you couldn't tell me that. I used to say, no, this man that jumped off a ladder onto a table. You tell me that's fake? Yeah, he's bleeding. But. Even though we know it's, choreographed, it's not necessarily real. It's real on like what they put their bodies through.
It's real to me.
They put their bodies through some lot of stuff, man. It's not no like, okay, it's fake. They should be able to do it. Them guys go through a lot of surgeries to go through what they have to go through. But
take heat up there. But I gotta say Stone Cold.
Stone Cold.
If not Stone Cold, an honorable mention gotta be The Rock.
The Rock, he's special.
The
Rock.
Stone Cold. I'm telling you, throw them 2 beers up to him, it's over. When you get to crack them open, it's over with.
Yeah, The Rock. Man. I mean, Stone Cold for one. Stone Cold was like, he was one of those guys that was just, he didn't care. He was different. Mm-hmm. Like you had the standard not necessarily standard wrestler, but you had Hulk Hogan. How Hulk Hogan was able to do things, and your vitamin, do this and work out and everything, exercising. He did his thing, and big swole guy. Stone Cold, he was in shape, but he didn't care about us drinking beer, flipping folks off. That was so far from like.
Where
everybody else was seeing in wrestling.
Renegade.
That's right. Like he was himself. At that point, it wasn't much. Like you had characters, then you had guys who were just themselves.
Right.
And guys who were just themselves, it was just like, okay, this different. Mm-hmm. And then you had guys like The Rock, and then
they were smooth too. They was just more like charismatic. Like they had their own little, like.
Yeah, on little thing. That's what make. That's why I like the Undertaker made a character. Like, let's say he gets hit and then he's on the ground and then he raises up, like stuff like that, or in the casket.
He don't die by 6 times.
Oh my God, I know, right?
He's be bad. He coming back sooner or later.
He's coming back. I know, man.
I know it's good wrestlers, but who's a good entertainer that's gonna sell you tickets?
Well, you said The Rock. I would say.
So I'm going Shawn Michaels or Eddie Guerrero.
And they're both really good. Shawn Michaels for sure. Like they said, Shawn Michaels could wrestle with a broomstick and it'll be an entertaining match.
Everyone gonna watch it.
Dude, Shawn Michaels is special.
Music.
Shawn Michaels is special, man. Shawn Michaels is special. I think like pure in ring, he's probably one of the greatest. Him, Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle.
He was really good, man. They underrate his work, but I like Jeff Hardy. What he used to be able to do, Jeff. People
from everywhere. Gosh. He was doing it from everywhere.
Dude, he would do it from anywhere, any place. They would say he was more like a high risk guy. Those big splash moves. Mm-hmm. That's what really get him over.
That's
but
what everybody liked though.
That's what everybody. But I think he used to be a good in ring worker. I thought he was a solid in ring worker.
Mm-hmm. He was like onto ECW and like TNA. Like
yes, I watched both of them.
More brutal then.
Well, ECW was more brutal, but TNA, let me tell you, from like 2003 to about 2010, 11.
Yeah.
TNA was on TNA was good. Thursday, yeah, I used to like TNA, man. I would watch it. The ring was different. Yeah, I used to watch TNA, man. When they had Sting and Kurt Angle and AJ Styles. Then Jeff Hardy went over there. Like
AJ was nice.
They had some dogs, man. They had some dogs.
Oh yeah, they was definitely. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like TNA, like I don't think they had rules or regulations on how they ran their business. Like they was just
they were just going.
You get on the you might just turn on. They got their fight already. Like they getting at it with the announcers and stuff. Like they was just tripping.
I know, man. Tell you, that used to be fun. I used to actually stay in depth with that storyline.
So tell me a little bit about. So I know you played like football in college. You wrestled in college as well. So tell me a little bit about like your college life. Like how was that growing up and like going through like the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga?
Yeah, well, it was fun. Spent some of the time with you as well. So I enjoyed college. I really did. I tell people I really enjoyed my 4 years here in college at UTC. Right. Definitely a good learning experience. Definitely a growing experience. You have to find yourself in college. You're living on your own, more things on your own. You have to do the best you possibly can for yourself. Right. And how you're able to do that, you do learn through trials and tribulations. You make certain decisions that you do throughout college. And, I feel like I had a little bit of an up and down, I would say, college athletic career. Mm-hmm. The ACL in both football and wrestling, that was just awful. But to come back, working hard to come back, eventually playing. But also the other down was having a new head coach every year I played. That's crazy, man. That's rough. You had Coach Huseman, the Coach R, had Coach R for 2 years, and then go to Coach Wright, and it's just hard you never establishing anything. And then I'm switching the position every time. Like I start off at linebacker, I go to fullback, and then I go fullback to like H-back, then back to defensive line. It's like I'm all over the place. It was hard for me to ever be establishing anything. So
what would you consider your favorite college memory from like just in college and then college and football?
Favorite college memory.
You gonna have some wild memories.
Citadel, the year I started actually, and I had a few good plays in that game, and it was huge, man. And we actually won that game on that trick play, double pass, reverse to Gaberti. Yeah, Gaberti, man. Yeah, Bryce Gaberti. Yeah, that was actually a great one. That's probably my favorite moment.
That's up there for me for sure. That was
a crazy game. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
You had a secret talent in college now at every party. So I'm just saying. I'm gonna tell the story. Look, I'm letting y'all know right now. Finney had a special talent at every party. You might be a couple shots in, and then all of a sudden, music turn down a little bit, and it's a big circle in the middle of the party, and you see this man doing clap push-ups. If y'all don't know what no clap push-up is, this man will push himself up, clap behind him, and land right back on the 2 hands and do it again. That man, you can do 5 or 10 on.
Oh man, yeah.
I want you to tell, but tell them about the story though, about the chip.
Man. So look, all right. At this time, I have never gotten drunk yet. I had drunk like here and there before, but I had never been drunk before. I was turning 21. And so I had a bunch of guys on my team, and they're like, okay, we're gonna finally let you we'll let you drink a little bit. And I was like, okay, I don't got no problem. I'm in my room, and oh my goodness. And some of my cousins from home came to watch. Came to the party. I had a bunch of them. So I started out. One of my friends, roommates, he gave me something. I was like, okay, this is good. Then I had Austin coming there, another one of my teammates. He gave me something. Chris Jones came in there. He gave me something. Then, it was just racking up on like, and I didn't know. I didn't know you're supposed to mix clear and dark together. I'm drinking.
They'll set you up. You might clear and dark.
Dude, clear and dark. Wine. I was doing everything. Dude, I was drinking everything, bro. And I'll never forget it.
Up all night. That's all you meant to do that night.
Dude. And then it was funny I'm thankful for all those guys. They let me have my birthday party at Vic's house. Everybody used to go to his house.
Oh yeah, Vic house, party house.
Everybody used to go there. Yeah, and I didn't go there much, but at times I did. It was like, okay, there's a lot of people, and man, I think it was pretty funny. I think when people saw that I was gonna get drunk.
Mm-hmm.
There was so many people there.
I tell you.
Gosh, I was like,
that was the main event of the weekend, right there.
Dude, there were so many people there, and the party was just—it was fun. I mean, I enjoyed it. We were dancing, sure. And yes, I was out there doing push-ups on the ground. I did 100 straight push-ups drunk, so I think that's an accomplishment. 100 straight push-ups drunk.
That's not normal. 100 push-ups drunk.
And I remember punching a mailbox over. I remember running full speed into a tree, doing pass block drills on a tree. And
it's his 21st birthday night.
And then I ran full speed into a car and chipped my tooth. So yeah, that was that time to go home.
So, it wasn't at the point where you was punched over the mailbox or running head first to the tree. It wasn't then.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, I had to chip the tooth. I chipped that tooth and I was like, what the freak? And I remember waking up, I was like, wow, what's my... You know how, well, I don't, you probably didn't chip your tooth for, but it gets real tender.
Yeah.
And you with your tongue, and it's like, ooh, yeah. And I just knew. I was like, oh, dentist and everything. But yeah, you have those times in college that you definitely remember. And hey,
it was definitely a fun time while we was there. Now it was definitely.
It was. We had a lot of good moments, man. We had a lot of good moments. I definitely enjoyed. Like I said, I definitely enjoyed my time in college. There was a time you experiment, you have fun.
Right. So tell me a little bit. So how do you feel that football mentally helped you dealing with wrestling stuff? Because mat drills after winter break, it's terrible. You there 6 o'clock, you got 8 grown men yelling at you finish through the line, and you already done finished. They still yelling.
I'm gonna tell you. So with mat drills, what's surprising for me is because I wrestled, mat drills wasn't too exhausting for me. I used to enjoy the bear crawls, the rolls. I said, man, this is easy. We do this for wrestling all the time. This is easy. The sled pushing. The only thing I hated was the long sprinting, running. But then it got to a point I'm like, okay, I'm getting in shape now. This stuff ain't bad.
That's the only part that had you mad was the sprinting part?
Yeah.
So not the rolling, not none of that.
No, dude, I roll now. Yeah, I roll and bear crawl now.
6 a.m. Come on, Finney.
Y'all gotta understand.
We doing rolls on cold turf.
Let me tell you something.
All on the turf.
You know the uncle I'll tell you that's a pastor? My uncle Snoop used to come to the house. Hey, little man, we coming 5:30 in the morning. We're going to go work out. This is during the summer. Every day during the summer. Just
uncle.
Oh yeah, and he work out. We run 2 miles, or you run for 20 minutes, and then you do his workouts. And majority of my cousins or people or my friends on the football team that would try to come and work out with me, every single one of them ever thrown up. Every single one. Ooh. They ain't never been one. They never thrown up. The only one he always say, the only one they ain't thrown up is you. And they suck. So when I would do these football workouts, I said, y'all wouldn't even get past my uncle. And he'll be about to kill me.
The mat drills are terrible.
But the mat drills weren't the prettiest, but I used to enjoy them. I'll take that back. I wouldn't say enjoy, but I could withstand them. They weren't that bad. They weren't that bad.
That's understandable. So which one was worse for you? Because for me, it was fall camp. But which one was worse for you? Mat drills or fall camp? I hated fall camp. It's just it's mentally draining.
Fall camp was mentally draining. I would say this. I love fall camp to the point to where, let me tell you something what made me mad. Is when we're doing fall camp, got your stuff, and we got our pants, our jerseys, everything, put it in the bin. I come back, my stuff is wet. Y'all gotta give me something else.
You smell like mildew out
dude, there. Oh my gosh, that would make me so mad. Dude, that happened twice, and I was like, I can't do this, man. Y'all
give me a whole new practice fit.
And then, but the thing, see, you gotta remember who my coach was. Coach Hurd.
Oh no.
So the thing is,
he tripping.
It didn't matter if they messed up or not. You better be out there on that practice field. So there was never a time. So even if it was their fault, it was gonna be my fault when I got to Coach Hurd. You should have got there 30 minutes earlier. You should have got there an hour early to make sure your pants was good. I do. I used to. Y'all don't even know.
Gonna wear him himself. He better put him on there. I'm telling you right now.
Oh man,
doing that. So tell me a little bit about the transition. So how was that? How was your? Because the football lifestyle is gonna be way different from wrestling. But tell me that transition. How was that lifestyle for you? Transition over.
Well, I've been wrestling all my life. Mm-hmm. I was a 2-time state champion in high school.
Right.
Wrestling, went 40-0 my senior year. And went to nationals, placed 9th in the nation. And so I had a lot of, good accolades in wrestling. I had a lot of offers as well in wrestling, but I wanted to choose the football route. We coming from the South, man. You choose to want to do football.
Oh yeah. For sure.
So because of that, I was staying on course of how to continue to be the best that you can possibly be, in any sport, football or wrestling. And the transition came right after COVID, man. When COVID hit, I tell people sometimes COVID was a blessing for some, obviously it was a curse for others, but for me, it was a chance for me to find exactly what I wanted to do in life. And when COVID hit, we was given that extra year football wise, and I had started boxing. I started boxing a little bit, and a guy told me, he said, "Hey man, come to this gym called the Gogan Combatives," and I went and I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it. Even though Coach Matt, he's my head coach, he about killed me. I was like, man, this young look like he'd be ready to kill me, boy. Because, like, he grabbed me in the stuff. He would choke me at will. I mean, he could do anything he wanted with me. Right. So I said, I got to learn this. But I had always thinking about MMA. I kept saying to myself, man, I would like to fight one day. I just kept saying it. And I did that boxing match. I did a amateur boxing match. I lost. I mean, I went against a guy that was 7-2. He had a lot of experience. Right. The guy I was supposed to win against pulled out on me, said I was on steroids, but I couldn't be. I was playing football. Scary. But I went against a guy. He beat me by decision. And when I stepped out the ring, first thing I'm thinking, man, I want to do more of this. I love this. Even though I was gassed out, tired. But I knew I wasn't prepared because I was still playing football. Right. Like, I knew I wasn't going to be in boxing shape, And when you have a lot of people around you, like, all right, you shouldn't do that no more. That's not meant for you. You shouldn't do that no more. That's it. I'm like, man, that's the problem with y'all. You fail one time and you think, oh, that's it for me. Right, like, that's majority. Correct what you failed at and try again. Like, what? I hate when people don't try again at something when it didn't work the first time. Like, okay, it didn't work the first time. Okay, we make adjustments. Let's try it again. If you fail again, okay, make adjustments. Let's try it again. Don't just get to the point to where, man, I quit. I ain't doing this no more. Because I've actually seen the guys that actually trained in box or done MMA fight one time to come up with a loss. I'm not doing it anymore. You don't do that, man. Especially where I come from. I was a really good football player. I was one of the best in the state where I'm from. And because of that, I was like, man, I need to be playing college football at Division I.
And it sounds like that's what you really go to, like football or basketball. Like
exactly.
That's what you're going to go to.
And that's what you're going to look for, football or basketball. And when you don't go and do that, you already thinking, man, people back at home probably thinking down on myself. Yeah. They probably thinking I ain't doing nothing. They probably think I ain't being successful. They probably think I'm just another one. Like, you trying to sometimes stay so much in a certain spotlight. Right. Or trying to be the talk of the town in a way, like trying to have people always trying to speak highly of you in a way about what you're currently doing, rather than what you try to do best for yourself. Because when you do what's best for yourself and you become successful in it, you feel a lot more proud of it, rather than looking for other people what they got to say. And I think, and I will say, when I played, I wanted to play college football. Don't get me wrong, I did personally for myself. I did. But a little bit was that, like, okay, if I go and wrestle, nobody really gonna care for wrestling. Right. And also some of the wrestling workouts I didn't like either. They were hard. Hey, college wrestling is really hard, y'all. Right. College wrestling is really, really hard. Man, that's different, but I knew I could do college football. And I was like, I always said I wanted to play Division I college football. So, I definitely accomplished that dream. And I wrestled, but it was something to where I was like, I'm going to get into MMA and I'm going to do this. Right. And I remember, oh my God, hiccups, water loader. But I remember personally when I had my first fight and first MMA fight. And boy, it was funny because I didn't tell nobody. I was only telling certain guys on the team. Yeah. And I didn't tell nobody. And when that poster came out, it was about a week away from the fight. The fight poster came out. And boy, I had so many calls. Oh, yeah. Lord have mercy. You doing what? Oh, yeah. My mom calling, you doing what? You know, grandma,
That'd be
granny.
the first one.
Oh my
Them
God.
family members.
Oh my goodness. They say, my auntie even asked, she said, could you pull out this fight? Like, your grandma really don't want you to fight nobody. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I said, I'm going to stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and I said, I'm doing it for myself. And I said, whatever happens, happens. You know, but I felt I put enough work in. When you train hard, when you prepare, whatever the outcome comes, you prepare for it.
Right.
So I always tell somebody, if you beat me straight up, you just beat me.
Right.
You know, but you're not. If I know I can control what I can do, I don't think anybody on the planet can beat me. If I go in there and beat me, I don't think anybody on the planet can beat me. But that's the. I had worked hard going into that fight, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, we actually had a football scrimmage that day, and Coach Wright had got mad at us how we finished practice. So he made us run, man. 12 100-yard sprints. I'll never forget that. And we left. And when we left, I left right from there, went straight to training. Not training, my coach, he took me straight to Knoxville. And I was tired, man. I was like, man, I got to get this guy out of here quick. Yeah. And I went in there, man.
You did exactly what you said.
11-second knockout. Man. So it didn't last long. And again, it changed. You know, like, oh, man, okay, this is not bad.
That's all you need to see right
now. Not bad. Okay, we see what's going on. And then, you know, it's crazy. You know, I had got a title fight, my second ever amateur fight. Or the guy that already had multiple fights. He probably was going to be, he had already won a title. He was good. He was undefeated with 3 knockouts. So, you know, it was, you know, I was going in, I was confident. And then I think that's the fight that really put me on the scene regionally. Right. You know, like everybody, they still show it sometime when I pick them up over my head, above the cage, and slam them really hard. So, yeah, that was a good fight for me. And it just started going on, man. Right. I really enjoyed it.
So yeah, man. So like the record speaks for itself. 5-0 amateur, 7-0 pro, 12-0 overall, and then as a pro career, 5 knockouts, 1 submission, and 1 decision, unanimous.
Yes, sir.
Like that in itself is amazing. And then you only been at this how many years so far?
I've only been at this for now. When June hits, we're coming up on June. It'll be officially 4 years.
Man, like
4 years.
A quick turnaround to get that many wins like that and stuff. Like
it has, man. This whole thing, man, me and my coach talk about it all the time. Like this whole thing has just been so fast. You know, I turned pro, only being an amateur for about 10 to 11 months. I was only an amateur for a short period of time. And then I turned pro. When I turned pro, you know, had 4 fights in my first professional career. Then last year I was on the Contender Series, you know, fighting
that's dope.
You know, fighting in front of on the Dana White Contender Series at the UFC Apex. You know, winning there, that was huge for my career. And, you know, it was just a huge pillars, like one by one. And all of this stuff was happening so fast. And I still tell people, like, all of this stuff is happening fast. Yeah. You know, like I'm still young in my career, really young. You know, people don't understand. In MMA, you don't hit your prime till you're 28.
Right.
You know, 28. I'm 25. So yeah, I'm still haven't even come close to hitting my prime yet, and I am just on the iceberg. Like I'm feeling better overall as a fighter myself. Like I'm learning things as I'm going. Like I'm grasping the techniques. You know, I train every day. So everything that I'm learning, I'm just slowly grasping. And I just think this has just been a huge defining moment as I've been going along with my career to just continue to keep getting better. Right. That's all I look for. You know, I train with I've trained with some of the best guys in the world. You know, I have really good coaches. You know, I have really good teammates and training partners, and I just continue to keep getting better by finding ways to add things to implement to my game and elevate them. You know, even what I'm really good at, I continue to try to find ways to elevate it. So it's been a journey. It surely is. It's still a journey. You know, I still feel like I got a long way to go in this game. So it's exciting.
Oh yeah, and in your pro career, what's the fastest winning like the fastest finish you got? Is it like 2 minutes? Or?
As a pro, it's about 2 minutes. Now amateur, I had one at 5 seconds.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody was mad that they paid their money and you finished the man in 5.
I remember, you know what? One of my cousins, he was there, and he went to, I don't know, I told him it was stupid, but he went to the bathroom during the announcements.
And was through. And
he said, as he was walking out, he heard, and he was like, what happened? He said he sees the guy on the ground out. like,
man.
But yeah, I had so I've had some pretty fast wins, and then I've had some longer fights as well. I'm ready for any. Obviously, anybody's ready for a fast win. I'm also ready to go the distance.
Right.
So that's the way I prepare myself. I prepare myself for every fight to be in a war. So I try my best not to make it one, but we prepare for anything that happens within the fight.
For sure. And tell me a little bit about like camp life. Like tell me a little bit about like how a Gogi camp life is, and then kind of tell me like when you go transition to like go visit another camp and how's that ran and stuff. Like tell me a little bit about just the camp life in general.
Well, ideally, most of the time I'm able to get 8 weeks to prepare for a fight.
Mm-hmm.
So in camp, most of the time we try to do a good bit of it here. But I do, depending on the opponent, if I need a good simulation of a certain opponent, I'll go to a certain camp, and those people help me out with giving me good looks, what I can need to see for that type of opponent. And it's been huge for me, man. I go and I see his stuff and I look and I'm like, man, that's good. Okay, good. I like that. And when you see yourself able to go against these top tier guys, like, okay, if I can go and get this guy, I'm gonna be good. To be able to see that and do that, it's so motivating. It's so helpful. And that's why I know like I'm amongst one of the best, overall, coming up into my career as one of those prospects. I'm rated as one of the highest prospects currently in all MMA, and I know that on this journey, like I am continuing to get better. I know who I'm training with. I know who I go against. I've trained with some world champions. I've done really well against some of them. I've trained with guys currently in the UFC, guys that are in the PFL, guys that are in Bellator. I've trained with all these guys, man. Got a chance to train with Lyoto Machida.
That's dope.
Jacare Souza, Phil Rowe, Alex Nicholson. These guys all in UFC, former UFC, some former, some currently. Val Woodburn, just a lot of really good guys there. I mean, they have a really good camp. Mike Davis, they got a really good camp. And then Extreme Couture with Sean Strickland and Chris Curtis and all those guys. I've sparred a lot of guys there, man. Ayan Kutalaba or Brad Tavares, and then man, there's just so many. There's so many guys I've had an opportunity to go with, and it's been a blessing, man.
It's been like any closed doors or like gaining some of the like fighters that's been in this game for a while. Has it been hard for them, like for you to gain their respect, or like has it been any closed doors, or has it just been kind of like smooth sailing, like everyone kind of loves the way you fight and train and stuff like that, so they're willing and inviting?
Yeah, I definitely get a lot of respect from those guys because I am, I am a little different. I do know that I'm unique. I'm a shorter fighter, and I'm usually a tall man weight class with the length of a really tall man. I got long arms for a short guy, 75.5-inch reach, which is usually longer than the majority of guys that's already in the weight class.
I'm 6'4", and mine ain't even.
Yeah. And then they see guys like me also with my body the way it's built. A big muscular guy. Okay, he'll gas out. Oh yeah. Oh, he didn't gas out. Oh man, he's still able to go. He's pushing the pace. And then along with my wrestling, my chain wrestling, how I'm able to lift guys. They just think like, wow, when you're a grown man and nobody ever lifts you, and then this random guy comes in here and lifts you over his head, you're like, what's going on here? So it's pretty fun to go with certain guys for the first time and they don't know, and they're like, well, this is incredible. So I've had an opportunity, man, to train with some really, really good, great guys, and I've been blessed with them and made great connections with them too. So
so in that time and with the connection that you have made, what are some of the guys, or who is a guy that you feel like, oh, this man really out here to hurt people? Like he may not really be a good guy, or like he just want to hurt people all the time. Like who would you consider?
Sean Strickland, man. Sean, he's a former world champion, but that guy, what he is in the media, he is in person, man. And that son gun,
he talk the talk and walk the walk.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He loves fight. Some people like they call it a fight. You know how the Southern people, it's a fight. Yeah. So they like to fight. That's just what he grew up on, man. When you just grow up fighting, he always said, I want to be the first person to kill somebody in the cage.
Somebody like that just crazy. They ain't no need to step in there with him.
I know.
Ain't got nothing to live with. Leave him alone.
It's funny, man. But and it's funny how certain people are like, oh my God, it's crazy. But I enjoy the chaos. Right. Like me personally, I enjoy the chaos. Like I don't get phased by none of that. You get to talking and do, like certain things like that. Not necessarily him, but it's just like. But Sean is the real deal, man. He walks the walk. He talks the talk. I really enjoy training with him. Get great tips from him every time we train together. So it's been really good.
So with that, mental health is real big now, and there's like a big awareness on it.
It is.
So is that something that's like, like kind of preached in the UFC? Like, do they have like people that help you with mental? I know like basketball, football, they got associations that'll help you that you can go talk to. It's like the UFC and that like profession, is that the same? Do they have people you can talk to?
Well, not necessarily, but I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Look, now I know certain people that have they get coaches,
right.
Mental health coaches. Which I'm not against. Look, you have to always take care of your mental health. Like, people really need to do that because sometimes some people hold things in and you need to get it out. You need to talk to somebody. Have somebody that's a listening ear. And also people that are listening ears. Every time when somebody come talk to them, listen. Be that listening ear. Don't try to talk while
talking. Listen. That's why you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen.
Exactly. Like, listen to that person if they're spilling out their heart to you. Because sometimes some people try to spill their heart out and they go, well, I think, or they're just interrupting the whole time.
I don't even want to talk to you.
I want to talk to you. Yeah. Then you lose that person. And he might not, or he or she might not ever get a chance to speak to anybody. And now they just holding it in and griping because I can't even talk to whoever I'm trying to talk, so like, learn how to listen a little bit. But reiterating back to what I was saying is, some guys got mental coaches in fighting, but it's not common. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You probably foreign fighters, everyone needs one. But to do this, man, you gotta be willing to go. You gotta probably do, man. Like I feel like I'm probably one of the more sane guys that actually fights. There's some other ones too.
You
but
really wouldn't be able to tell that you was a fighter if like they just came to talk to you and stuff. They probably wouldn't think.
Nah, they probably wouldn't think that, growing up. But that's the thing though, it's like I can flip that switch.
Yeah.
Because I tell people, growing up, I've had a lot of like, I didn't necessarily have anger issues, but I would be mad, dude. And I can sure enough get mad. Like when I easily can get pissed off. But I was taught again by my granddad, like not to speak out loud, crazy, learn to be quiet, learn what to do. But now I'm in a profession to where if you make me mad, I'll just punch you in the face.
Right.
So like it's a lot different. There ain't no much more talking. Right. So
do you think that like that frustration or that edge you have to flip the switch, do you think it comes from like your childhood growing up and stuff? Because I feel like mine, like me personally, my temper kind of comes from always getting whoopings all the time. Then they send you to the room. Now you just in there mad and frustrated, swinging in the air, ready to leave. I can't wait to leave.
I know. Mad, you just mad, dude. Look, I get mad, dude. I can't tell you how quick I get mad. Like, even then, like, when somebody says, like, I can't do something or I'm not able to fight them, that just gripes at me. Like, I know how much work I put in. So when you say something, especially when you're about to step in the cage with me, you getting it all. There ain't gonna be no. You better off by not saying anything about me. Instead of going in trash talking.
Get trash talking before the fight.
Don't trash talk me because now you're just gonna motivate me even more. I had a guy do that, man. It was my 4th amateur fight, and we did a whole show together. They put us. We was opponents, but he was trash talking me right after I just had my 5-second knockout, and he was already trash talking me. So I called him out after my fight. And then they put us on the show together, and he sat there doing all that talking, and he's like, I'm coming to Tennessee, I'm taking your belt, bring it back to South Carolina, I'm bringing your paper belt, you ain't gonna ever do that to me, I'm gonna knock you out,
do it then. We ain't with all that talking.
Dude, I said, I guarantee you, I'm leaving. I'm still gonna have this belt, and you gonna go home empty-handed. But
and how they turn out?
Exactly how I said it. I really wish I would have finished it, but I will say a fight like him made me better.
Yeah,
it made me better. Like, granted, as much as we like went back and forth, and then it's funny, like stuff happened on social media where my co-host made a video. Everything he said in the interview that I wasn't going to do,
you did.
I did too. It was like 5 or 6 different things, and I did it. And he made a whole little video of it, and he got mad. So, him and his family on Facebook, you know how it is. And my mom sees it.
Oh, man.
And then
don't get Granny
Oh,
involved.
Lord.
Don't even get Granny.
You know how it is.
Sure, now.
Then my whole Jones County back at home, they get up. Look,
you don't even know what he's stepping into. You don't even stepping in that fire.
I'm getting tagged and so much stuff. I'm just sitting there reading. I ain't saying a word. I ain't gonna say nothing. Yeah, but I enjoy it, man. That was fun. But like I said, when you get into things like this and you look for motivation, obviously, yes, that person can motivate you by trash talking you. Obviously, yes, people on the outside can motivate you. But I always tell people, no longer try to do things to prove people wrong.
Right.
I know people say, well, I'm trying to prove them wrong, or I'm trying to prove folks wrong. You don't necessarily have to prove anybody wrong. Prove yourself right. I stopped doing that a long time ago for myself, where I would say I'm going to prove somebody wrong. I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to prove them wrong. And then you keep looking for that. I'm going to keep proving them wrong. And once you prove them wrong, what's next?
Yeah, what's next?
And then it gets to the point, okay, I'll prove them wrong. What's next? Then you're just looking for something else to just piss you off. And then that's good in the terms of motivation. But what about proving yourself right? You said I'm going to set myself out to do this.
Right.
And I go and set myself out to do it. And then I might have to deal with trials and obstacles along the way. But once I overcome it, you feel so much more proud because you said, I'm going to do this.
And done it.
And you do it. And that's how I feel for myself. I say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I go out there and do it. Yeah, I feel proud after a win. Yeah, I feel proud after a fight. Yeah, I'm going to feel proud after what I've accomplished because I set myself out and said, I'm going to do this. I said, one of my coach, Dwayne Lutwood, who I had in Denver, he talks about getting a journal and writing things down. I said, it's better to write your goals down than to type it out. You feel it more to your soul when you write it down,
right?
And I wrote some goals out and, I'm putting it in the paper, okay, let's put it to the test. Let's work hard to get there. And that's the plan, man. And I love that. I love that personally. I love that as an overall guy that's always trying to continue to find what's next best thing for him. Right. And you just don't obviously do this in spite of or just only for yourself, but you do it for the Lord. You got to remember He comes first and He's the reason why you're able to do what you're able to do. That's why I always thank Him because I am able to do what I'm able to do because of Him. Out of all the injuries that I had coming out of college, I would have never thought.
Take one slip up.
Yeah, all it takes is one slip up. The moment you start overlooking and being complacent is when somebody else take you over. Oh, yeah. So you can't do that.
For sure. So, and I know life is full with a lot of up and downs and success and failure. So what would you consider being your major setback and how did you reestablish yourself and get back to where you needed to be?
Well, I would say it was a major setback, but I feel like, again, that's what led me here. When I tore my ACL in football, spring, Coach Wright had just came in. I'm trying to do my thing, working hard for a starting position. Literally the third play of spring, first practice, tear my ACL. I knew it the moment it happened, and I sat there and said,
feeling too.
It's
you
awful.
Can't do nothing. You know it's messed up.
It's messed up. And I kept trying to do everything. And I went back out there and played a few more plays because I kept saying it's not torn.
Wait, hold on. You played a few more plays after tearing your ACL?
Yeah. I suspected that it was torn, but I didn't want to accept it. It was my mind saying it's not torn. And at first I said, man, I tore my ACL. And I was like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You go out there and do a few more plays.
Nah, hold up. Nah. So for you to be able to tear ACL and then do 2 or 3 more plays is outrageous like that.
Dude, I toured in when I toured in wrestling. I continued to wrestle. I had to finish the period, man. And I instantly knew something was different, but that's my first time tearing one of my knees, so I didn't know. But when I did this second time, I was like, man, and I just knew, listen, I'd already know there's no such thing as a league. You got all these injuries, you're barely playing. Well, then that's when that light started, that real question started to come. What you gonna do after football?
Right.
What you gonna do after college? And when you've been in athletics all your life, it's like, this is all I want to do.
Yeah.
I can't. This is, because I put a lot of time and effort into being the best that I can possibly be. So when I saw that this was eventually coming to an end, I wanted something else. Mm-hmm. But then again, that's the reason why you can't put yourself into these materialistic things or into these worldly things. Right. You got to keep yourself in the Lord. Allow the Lord to lead you, because one day these things are gonna go away.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
He's gonna be on the thing that's standing. Mm-hmm. And that was my love for football, man. Like my coach talked about it best. I love football, but football didn't love me, and a lot of injuries caused that. Mm-hmm. And because I had so much of a love for football, and I couldn't really do much after the fact I got hurt.
Right.
I'm over here searching what's next. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you're literally in college to get 2 degrees. I had graduated 2 degrees, but you're in college. You're getting these degrees to go to find what's next after football. Right. And me personally, I just didn't want to accept it yet. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to accept it yet, and that's what led me to fighting. But I will say that setback of that knee, I kept saying, you're going to get back. You're going to get back. And I was working hard to get back for that football. Because it happened in spring, and I had came back off my other ACL in 5.5 months. Came back quick. When I toured and wrestled, came back in 5.5 months. And I played that whole season. That's when I became all conference. So,
man,
when I was able to play, and I said, I could come back. But then the next one, I tore meniscus and ACL. So it was like a little different.
Right.
And I said, no, I'm going to come back. I got this. Mm-hmm. And man, I grinded only for me to get back with like 4 games left. And Coach Wright's like, nah, we ain't gonna let you play at all this.
Right.
I was like, well, what the freak? It made me mad, dude. I was mad. But that's why I found boxing. Because I was like, I gotta do something. I gotta hit somebody. I gotta do something. I gotta get physical. I want to practice. You remember who's that for Wes?
Yeah.
Dude, just going there, riding the bike, doing those workouts on the side. It was just so exhausting. Yeah. I just hated it. Doing no pad, doing nothing. Just looking at everybody run plays. I just hated that whole thing. Yeah. I just hated not practicing and not being a part of the actual team. So I had to do something. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
Before we wrap it up, I got two more questions for you before we wrap this thing up, man. So you heard, I don't know if you have watched Cam Newton's podcast before. And
I have.
Like that. So you being from Georgia and me being from Bama, do you believe what he say about best athletes come out of Georgia?
Yes. He's from Georgia. Dude, Atlanta?
I said.
What athletes?
Georgia athletes? What are you talking
about? Georgia athletes are freaking, it's not even close, George.
Get on the podcast and get disrespectful.
Bro, it's not even close. Oh my goodness, dude! The athletes that come out of the state of Georgia.
Basketball, we can get the name. If you want to go to football,
hold on. Don't worry about it.
What you want to go? Basketball, football.
Look. Deion Sanders just said in an interview. He recruits. He said, look,
hear me well. Deion Sanders' word is not gold. I'm telling you right now. Just because Deion Sanders said it does not mean it's true.
Probably not. But
Deion just ain't went down there and got them dogs from Bama.
He said Florida, Georgia, Texas,
we keeping them out of this
California.
Right now. We keeping them out of this right
Best talent in
Georgia and
all
Alabama.
of them.
We talking about Georgia and Alabama. We gonna keep Florida and all them out
of
this.
You from Alabama don't beat Florida. Georgia is literally like third.
All right, let's just sell this right now. Football. Go ahead. I go to
Cam Newton. There you go.
What?
Cam Newton. You got a lot of guys.
Julio Jones.
Okay, you got Herschel Walker.
Matt Wilson.
Whoa. He's, gosh. Dude, I have to think because there's a lot, dude. There's a lot of guys from Georgia. Dude, I wish I was prepared for this because I would have brought
I'm just saying.
Dude, this list.
I just thought you just knew your history.
Bro.
I know mine.
Dude, I mean, there's so many athletes from Georgia.
Talk to me.
What's the Jaguars quarterback right now?
Jaguars quarterback.
Trevor Lawrence.
That's what we're going with? Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, dude.
He's smooth. Don't get me wrong.
What are you talking about? Look at these athletes. What are you talking about?
Malik Cunningham.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa. No.
Deshaun Watson.
Okay. All right. I give you that.
Dude.
That ain't nothing though. We still got dogs. DT, Daniel Thomas. Play for the Jaguars. Safety. Marlon Davis.
Bro.
D tackle for the
Titans. There is a lot more than that from Georgia. I can guarantee. I can
keep going with you too.
Bro.
I got dogs now. Bro. I can keep going back.
I'm currently going blank, but I know for a fact. I have Nick Chubbs.
I can keep going running backs and receiver too.
Oh my gosh.
Henry Ruggs.
No, he's not.
Come on, bro. It's just real though. We just gonna speak fast. That's about sports. But
what's the
come on,
freaking guy's name? George Pickens.
George Pickens smooth. I give you that one. George Pickens smooth. He's a smooth dude.
Man, there's a lot. There's so many, man.
And we can sit here all day debate.
I'm about to say,
I ain't gonna do you
lot,
like that,
bro.
but I'm just telling you where I stand on this.
Jake Fromm, my God, my dog.
Yeah, we done with this topic. This man said Jake Fromm.
Hey, he was really good in school,
Jake
dude. He was really good in high school. Hey, he was good at Georgia. So
we gonna let that slide. We gonna
Justin Fields.
We ain't gonna even take it there.
Come on.
Jumping into the next question, man. When the dust is settled and everything is everything, where's Torrez Finney at the end of his career?
Oh man,
where you at?
At the end of my career, I want to be recognized as one of the best fighters in all of MMA.
Okay. Yeah.
And to have a great long career that was really successful, and to be able to inspire others, like, don't, whatever happens, don't let nobody doubt you.
Right.
I want to be able to inspire others.
Like that,
obviously, yes, the goal is to be a world champion, world title, get a lot of wins, do my thing, but it's always going to be that person inside of me. I still have that chip on my shoulder when a lot of people told me I couldn't fight MMA.
Right.
And that is me proving myself right rather than trying to prove them wrong. And every day I step out there on that mat, I'm trying to continue to prove myself right. So because of that, that's all. Whenever I feel like I have officially proved myself right, that is when I'll retire.
Hey, man.
But I don't think I've done it yet. I still got a lot more to prove.
Oh yeah, for sure. So look at the camera, man. I need you to tell everybody what you got coming up. What's next for the Punisher? And we're gonna end it like that.
Well, I'm fighting May 4th in Jacksonville, Florida.
Y'all tune in, man. Jacksonville, Florida.
That's right, man. On the road. I always say 1-0 on the day, but overall record trying to get it at 8-0. And we'll have some big news coming out soon. Can't do it yet, but we'll have some big news coming out soon after that. Born go out here and handling business.
Oh yeah.
On May 4th. So we excited. We're ready to go.
Hey, May 4th, stay tuned. Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, y'all tap in, man. This man finna 8-0, man. First round, we're gonna get him up out of here quick.
That's right, that's the goal, baby.
Man. So, hey, I gotta request it, man, because the people that know you, it's gonna be like, man, I ain't do my job if I ain't asked you to do it, man. So after a win, I just need it one time with the energy. After the win, I need to hear your slogan, man. I just need to hear it one time. We gonna end it just like that.
All right,
I just need it one time. Give me the energy.
I always do it,
one time, man.
I get on the mic, I do my thing.
Come on,
I look back and forth, and I'm like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Torrez the Punisher Finney has come onto this podcast. The real one. The real you.
Hey, come on.
Understand that. It's the real you right here with you one.
Okay.
And I got a question for all y'all. If you can smell what Torrez is cooking.